Hey yo, hey yo, what it do, peoples? What's good? It's your boy Kevin Wright, aka Kev on Mission, coming through here. And I just wanted to take a chance to sit down with you because it has been a little while since I've been able to do a sit down video with you because I have been away for a little bit. And in the future, I will do a lot better with utilizing the Facebook Reels and TikTok and all these other ways to give you small clips of things going on, because that's just a cool way to keep up to date. So if you don't know, now you know. Your boy is on TikTok and your boy is on Facebook. I got the Reels and all that stuff. We'll be working on some things just to put some more content out there so you can follow up with the journey, because a lot of y'all who know me well, of course, know what I do, but the goal is to get beyond those who personally know me and to encourage those who may not have a clue. Who is this dude Kevin Wright? Who is Kev on Mission? What he's about? So there's that. So this particular video, I wanted to take some time to talk to you a little bit about my past visit with Virginia Tech Chi Alpha Movement. I went down there October 21st and I came back 2 days ago, November 3rd. And I get a chance to take down today. Been doing laundry, all the good stuff, getting everything cleaned up since I've been away and all that. So first and foremost, it was a really dope time being down there, and it always is. For those of you who are familiar with my channel, you'd be aware that it has been 9 years of me making visits to this campus and spending time with folks in the movement and building up some pretty solid relationships. Like a lot of my friends who are currently on staff, I knew them as students. Some of them I've known ever since their freshman year. Some of them I've met in between, but either which way, there's definitely some long running ties. My friend Anthony Saladino, his wife Michelle, the campus pastors, I've known them, of course, since 2013. Well, I met Anthony in August of 2013, and I met Michelle in the spring of 2014. Took me a little while to be able to actually meet her because she didn't come up to Northern Virginia when I met Anthony. But all in all, like I said, it's been 9 years worth of time. So obviously, at this stage, it's pretty dope to be able to see the continuing relationships. And also another dope aspect is even to be able to talk about new relationships that are formed. Like, for example, Sam Parada, who is a junior at Virginia Tech, who also lives in my town, Woodbridge, represent. And I had a chance to meet him over the summer because of another friend, Ruben, who is also a junior at Virginia Tech. We met last fall when I stayed at the apartment that he was in. Matter of fact, this go around, he still stays in that apartment. And I was able to stay at that apartment again due to him and another roommate named Will. So, again, those relational ties really help. Also, I met Sam Parada, like I said, over the summer. And it was, you've seen the video if you've been on my channel, the video when I was in week 2 of leading Bible study at Christ Chapel on Wednesday nights, when I talked about David and Goliath. He actually was present, and my boy Ruben was present because he said, I'm going to come and bring somebody with me. Sam was who he brought with him. So it was cool to be able to meet him there and to get down here to Virginia Tech when I did in October and run into him my first night in town, because they had their large group meeting at night taking place, and to be able to immediately catch up. And it's actually funny because there's 2 individuals, one of which was Sam and one of which was Will, who was my roommate while I was around. They actually was like, are you the guest speaker? Because there was a guest speaker, and that's not the first time people have asked me if I was going to be the guest. And because I have been a guest speaker at Chi Alpha Virginia Tech before. It was 3.5 years ago, in actually literally April 24th, 2019 is the date. I don't have that video on this channel because I hadn't started it yet, but I do have it available. So if enough people ask for it, I may just have to throw it up on this channel too, just so y'all can see it. So let me know if that's something you want to see. So either way, starting off the week, hitting up Ignite. And throughout the course of the week, it was really cool. Like my boy Braden Venus, who's a second year intern, I had a chance to hit up his life group. We had a chance to have lunch on Wednesday that week and really catch up and see what God's doing with him. I also got to see him and another second year intern, Jewel Hayes, lead a time of equipping and training for a Friday night outreach. We had a outreach because it was the weekend heading into Halloween. And so folk be out in Blacksburg acting a whole fool. So why not us go out there and give them Jesus? So before we went out to give them Jesus, there was some training that had went down. So it'd be like that because we got to let folk know how to go about sharing the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And also the dope thing about it is that while folks are going out sharing, there were folks that are in the chapel praying. So it's like a twofold. It's like those are going out and actually getting in the field and sharing. And then there are those who are in the place of prayer for those who are going out. And I think that's important because one thing I've always respected and appreciated about the Chi Alpha Virginia Tech community is how prayer is really a bedrock style of foundation. Like Anthony will tell you himself that a culture of prayer is something that has been very important and continues to be important. Like there's morning prayer during the week. There's all these opportunities to spend time sitting at the feet of Jesus, praying and interceding for God to move on the campus. So that's something I have always appreciated about the movement. And in future visits, definitely looking forward to digging into more of those specific areas, just getting times and all that stuff correct. So it is a cool thing to see God do that. Also, during my outreach time on Friday, October 28th, I had a really dope opportunity I got to minister to a bouncer who had been dealing with some really wild church hurt. Me and my partner, Sydney, we started off going outside of Squires, and we had a chance to speak with a freshman student and invite him to Ignite. He had a Catholic school background, couldn't stand it, and he talked about being a part of a Protestant church. He was actually from Williamsburg, so it was even better. And I'm familiar with the church. Now thinking about it, he mentioned he was a part of Crosswalk Church because he mentioned being a part of Royal Rangers and other things. So you never knew what walks of life people are coming from. So we did get to invite him out to Ignite. I don't recall seeing him that Monday night, but he has it written down. He knows it's every Monday. So if you think about Brandon, pray for him that he would come out. Also, I had a chance this past Sunday to run to the Fort Chiswell area with my boy Anthony Saladino, campus pastor, because he was invited there. And I found out that nobody else was going to be traveling with him. So I was like, wait a second. No, that don't work. Like, I'm not finna sit there and have Anthony be out here running by himself. So I got up, and mind you, so some of y'all who are on Facebook, y'all know this. I got in from Saturday night's prayer and outreach time, 2:15 Sunday morning. That's very rare these days that I'm up that late, but I did get in at 2:15, and I did wake up at 7:30 a few hours later so that I could make sure I positioned myself to be out the door on time when Anthony showed up at around 9 o'clock for me to be able to roll with him to the Fort Chiswell area and see him preach at New Seasons Church, which was dope because it's a small place and then people really love Jesus and they also love Anthony, and they told me I could come back when he comes back. So at some point I might have to go back there. That'll be dope too. But it was cool. I got to run into somebody who was a part of Radford Chi Alpha back in the day, like a few years back. So that was cool to be able to see my boy Isaiah and his wife, so Emily. So those are some cool things to be able to speak to and speak about. Also, Saturday night, one of the reasons I was out to 2:15 because me and my boy Braden Venus got to go prayer walking downtown for a little bit. And then we ran into somebody we knew from the movement, got to chat with them for a bit. And Also ended up being called back to the chapel to help assist with some things as far as like clean up, carry out, all that good stuff. So there's a whole lot more I could say about that, but those are just some roundabout things. And eventually I'm gonna have to do some more processing, reflecting, really writing some things down in a reference to my time there, because a whole lot went down, more than I have time to get into in this particular video. But one thing I also want to take a moment to speak to, which is real important. I did a video not too long ago talking about the local church, the ministry of both, and about the local church and the global church. And I want to take a second and speak to the fact how, number one, y'all know I'm a part of a local church, Christ Chapel in Woodbridge, Virginia, 13909 Smoketown Road, Woodbridge, Virginia, 22192. If you live in the Northern Virginia area and you're looking for a church home, pull up at either 8:30 a.m. or 11 o'clock a.m. and come on. Pastors Bob and Wendy Griffith, come on out here and come see us. Come get to be a part of this family if you don't already have a church family. Even when I'm out of town, like there's a local church in Blacksburg, Fireplace, with Alvin and Charity Thomas that I visit. I didn't get to this past time because I was with Anthony in Fort Chiswell, but normally I hit up Fireplace when I'm in town, and because I think it is important to have relationship with the local church in the town that I travel to do ministry, to be a part of. I also think it is important to be plugged in because Bob and Wendy have been very supportive of the ministry that God's given me. That's why y'all see all these videos on location of me teaching Bible studies and stuff at Christ Chapel, and him even making it known to folks that Kevin's one of our teachers on the campus because of the fact of my relationship with my local church and the relationship I've had with my local church over the last 21 years I've been apart. 21 and a half, actually. It'll be 22 coming up in April of next year. So, I mean, even in that front, like I've always been about being a part of the local church, and it is really helpful to have a local church that has your back when it comes to you doing some of the things that involve the greater church. And I'm fortunate enough to be a part of a local church where folks like Pastors Bob and Wendy, Pastor Francina Smith, folks like, we just got a new next gen pastor, which I'm excited for. And I did have a chance to meet them when they were coming through to visit and kind of finalize things. So even all those things, I think those things are important to speak to. I will eventually do a fuller video talking about some things that when it comes to the local church, things to bring some greater clarity and understanding as to why it's important to be a part of a local church, in addition to being able to do the work in the global church, and how I've talked about it already. Like I said, there's already a need for like the both and. You need to understand the value of the local church, and you need to recognize the value of the global church, and they're not the same, but they both work hand in hand to see the kingdom of God advance in the earth. One thing I will say to end this video, and something I have said, is I'll expand on this the next time around. But what I will say is this: when it comes to making your decision as to where to settle down as far as a local church, one thing that is really important, that you need to have a local church that will be able to back you up when it comes to what God's given you, your gifts. And I'm not saying this without, if you don't have any relationships within that church, obviously you have to build them before trust can be established, right? So I'm not saying skip the process of building trust and doing the necessary things, but once you've been able to build that process, you'll find out if that church actually has your back when it comes to those gifts and when it comes to those things. And it is important to be a part of a church that's not manipulating, controlling, that's not playing games. I'm going to say all that for now, and I'll expand on that in the next video. So for now, that's what I'll leave you with. And as always, hop in the comments, shoot me an email, kevinonmission2.0 @gmail.com, and we can further have some conversations. All right, now I'll talk to all you soon. All right now. Peace.